Tokyo, 1964.
Some of the athletes from various teams have broken ranks to get a closer look. U.S. girls. Yoshinori Sakai is now passing by the bands and through those traditional Japanese drums. Flags of all the nations. Now we're coming to one of the most impressive moments of the Olympics, as Sakai will turn and salute the crowd before igniting the cauldron which will burn throughout the Olympic Games until the closing ceremonies, and it will be extinguished. There it goes.
The stretch produced an amazing finish by Billy Mills.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills in the United States, number 722, is leading Ron Clark. And in third place right now is Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis. A tremendous upset if Bill Mills can hang on. But Gammoudi goes out ahead as Gammoudi right now leading in the 10,000 meter. Ron Clark is third. Rather, Bill Mills is in third. Ron Clark is in second right now. This is the final lap for the 10,000 meter. The unheralded Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis is putting on a tremendous sprint. He's out ahead of Ron Clark. Bill Mills, the United States, is in third place. This will certainly be the fastest 10,000 meter ever run by an American.
Here's Mills, who seems to be boxed in. Suddenly there's an opening, and here he comes.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gammoudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gammoudi.
Look at Mills!
Look at Mills! Look at Mills! Coming on! Mills is coming on! It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here! Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters. Bill Mills of the United States, a tremendous upset, wins the 10,000 meter here. His unheralded runner from Kansas.
Let's go back and look with our other camera to see exactly how he broke through the pack.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gammoudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gammoudi.
Look at Mills! Look at Mills!
Coming on. Mills is coming on. It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here. Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters.
Billy Mills, the only American ever to win a gold medal in the Olympic 10,000 meter run.
I'm Billy Mills, and my theme today is going to be about footprints. And those of you on the Indian Health Board will understand very well what I'm talking about. But there may be those of you that are new, if not working with the Indian Health Board, or with their vast number of chores and wonderful things they do in Indian country. I think you will learn and have a better understanding that will bring you into today, what's happening on the streets of America. When I listened to Al Sharpton make a few comments a few days ago, they were powerful. They were comments we all have to understand. He said, it is time to have a conversation with America about Americans' racism, Americans' bigotry, Americans' hatred. I thought about my own experiences of trying to understand those words as a young boy. I thought about the time as an elite athlete, and my wife and I was with the U.S. Olympic team, U.S. national team, and we're in Moscow. and I experienced the suppression of socialism. And I thought about today, how so many young people, elders alike, they have this fear. They have this fear of socialism. America has become a socialistic country. When in reality, socialism was the Achilles tendon of communism, destroyed communism. We should be focusing on the Achilles tendon of America, of our democracy, our capitalistic way of life, which is profit at all costs. So with those thoughts going through my mind, I wanted to share with you a story about footprints. Footprints that ended up empowering me, being half Lakota, half white, and footprints that were trying to tear me apart. I went back into studying footprints of my ancestors. I'm half Lakota, I'm half white, and how those footprints, as they moved forward to today, either accidentally or on purpose, have tried to wash the footprints of the past away through the passage of time and the winds of change. So with that kind of as the background, I stood on the victory stand, 1964, around 6 o'clock in the evening, October 14th, 1964, having the gold medal put around my neck, and hearing the words of Avery Brundage, who was president of the International Olympic Committee, simply say, I have been watching the Olympic Games for over 50 years, and I've never seen an American respond to pressure like you did today in winning the gold medal in the 10,000 meter run. Today, the only person from the Western Hemisphere to win that race. The national anthem was being played. It was beautiful. It was powerful. It was humbling. And I was proud to be part of America. I was an officer in the United States Marine Corps, willing to give my life so our children's children could live. But on the victory stand, I felt I did not belong. I did not belong. Al Sharpton's words were powerful. I reminded myself on the way to California from Camp Pendleton to Camp Pendleton from Quantico, Virginia. My wife and I, one daughter at the time, Christy, 18 months old, we go to 5 hotels in Gallup, New Mexico. I go in, proud of being an officer in the United States Marine Corps. 5 hotels turned me down because I'm Native American. I was humbled. I felt somewhat inadequate. When my wife goes in, comes out with the key to a room, I've been spit upon. All because I have Native American blood. I came back from the Olympic Games, had a whole new world open up to me. Billy, we want to make an exception for you. You can join our most prestigious business club. It can enhance your income. You can meet many, many successful people. Besides, you have qualified. You have white. All I wanted to do was to be my total being. The Lakota people gave me a name, the elders, after I won a gold medal. Ta Makosha Tekachila, one who loves his country. So I set on a course about footprints. I wanted to know, why is my world the way it is today? One half of me in conflict with the other half. One being accepted, the other being rejected. So I went back. I started studying the doctrine of discovery, and I have a board here that Patricia will focus on for me. The doctrine of discovery. Basically, the doctrine of discovery says any new lands found in reference to the new world can only belong to the first Christian monarch that discovers them, and the inhabitants of those lands, the indigenous people. Upon landing on the shores of the new world, they must come under international rule of law. Their laws, their language, their religion, their songs, the sacredness of the drum no longer applies. As I moved forward, studying those footprints, It took me to manifest destiny. This land is a gift to the European immigrants from God. And in 1823, the Supreme Court case Johnson versus McIntosh, which basically determines Indian people cannot own land. To participate in the American dream, you have to have the right to have ownership of property. The indigenous people of the Americas were locked outside of the American dream. We cannot own property. So treaties signed, treaties broken. Genocide. Now the land that was legally stolen had to be developed. Slavery. There are no words that can describe the inhumane treatment of the innocent. Genocide. Slavery. When Jim Crow's born, the slaves are freed. We all experienced on television growing up, those my age and a few years younger, the hosing of the elderly, the children across the street with a fire hose, civil rights activists being beaten, being killed, all because former descendants of slaves, some whose parents, some who were slaves, were not allowed the freedom that much of America was allowed. Jim Crow. 1 year before I won a gold medal at the Olympic Games, the Civil Rights Act was passed. We've all been able to see on television, those my age experienced it, the objection that mainstream America had to the Civil Rights Act. In a sense, it was overturned, but I remember going to Dr. Martin Luther King's church. I went in because I wanted to stand where those 4 young girls were killed, putting on their robe to sing in the choir when the bomb goes off. Perhaps they were thanking God for their freedom, thanking America for their freedom. Then they're murdered. I cried. I wanted to have a better understanding. But that gave birth to the war on drugs. In the beginning, to make hippies and young black men felons. That soon spread to all young men of color. The war on drugs has been devastating. Patricia and I, just last fall, shortly before the pandemic hit, were on 3 reservations where our beautiful young girls, our young Native American emerging elite, trying to develop a resilience so they could capitalize on their brilliance and contribute to the world. Having to find a different place to sleep every night because of meth. And if we're in the health field, we know the most devastating craving if a person is on meth has to fulfill. And that's, in one way or the other, brutalizing for their gratification. Somebody, a young boy, a young girl, a grandmother. That's been devastating. So the journey I was on, the doctrine of discovery, manifest destiny, treaties signed, treaties broken, slavery, Jim Crow, the new Jim Crow, those footprints are etched into every fiber of our social way of life, our educational system, our entrepreneurial system, our political system, forever dictating our rule of law. Forever dictating our rule of law. And they created 2 powerful issues we have to address in America today. They're attempting to be addressed with peaceful demonstrations in cities of America and cities throughout the world, but being countered with violence. Pat and I have had people in the countries we visited the past 4 years. The past 4 years. Why does America hate so much? Why does America hate their people of color? They're poor. These are questions asked my wife and I as we travel throughout the world. So what the results of the doctrine of discovery? Manifest destiny, treaty signed, treaties broken, slavery, Jim Crow, the new Jim Crow. That created generational trauma. Generational trauma. But it also created generational privilege. America understands generational trauma. America fights for what is needed to help heal generational trauma. A more effective healthcare. Healthcare for those that can't afford it. So much need to help those that are broken, generational trauma. Thrust Native Americans into poverty. Thrust the people free from slavery into poverty. With poverty comes multitudes of social issues. But what else did it create? And this is what America has to understand. It created generational privilege. I was offered generational privilege after I won a gold medal at the Olympic Games. I could join the clubs that women could not join. Men, women of color could not join. The poor could not join. Generational privilege today, whether they understand it or not, perpetuates the doctrine of discovery. Manifest destiny, slavery, Jim Crow, the war on drugs. How? Profit at all cost. Never in the history of our country is the need for tribal governments, state governments, federal governments to come together and with our marketplace choreograph the horizon of America's journey so we can mature to the sacredness that our flag represents, but our laws, not all of our laws do. It takes more than wrapping yourself in the American flag to call yourself a patriot. Those that suffer from generational trauma, they have their patriots. I have one of mine, the young Congresswoman, AOC. She's a patriot, but generational privilege condemns her as if she's the enemy. We need to come together. Generational privilege has to listen to what will help heal generational trauma. It's not socialism under communism, but it's our country, our leadership stepping up to help empower the resilience of the broken to continue and to inspire them to develop their brilliance.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved